welcome to the Album Man, and I hope you enjoyed the intro. I know I have already posted it on my channel, so I'm sure many of you have already seen it, but yeah, I'm hoping to do that for all my reviews, you know, keep that intro, just change the, obviously, end bit where it says what album review it is, and the picture of the album I'm reviewing there. You know, I hope these additions are good things to my reviews and benefit them. Okay, so today we are going to be reviewing, as you've seen by the many titles, Helloween's Straight Out of Hell, and this is the 14th, I can't believe it's the 14th studio album from the German power metal legends that are Helloween. I mean, they are really one of the bands that just define the genre of power metal. Definitely one of my favourite power metal bands, probably them and Iron Savior, probably my favourites, and Iron Savior, another German power metal band who are made of some of the ex-members of Helloween, so yeah, you know, I like things to do with Helloween. Anyway, so I haven't heard their last album, Seven Sinners, haven't heard that. I haven't heard the last couple of albums, actually. So I was looking forward to this album, and the question is, does this capture the classic Helloween sound, or does this just end up being a repetitive, derivative, and uninspired power metal album? Let's find out. So, the album even opens with the single Nabataea. And this is about the legendary kingdom in Petra, which was in Jordan, now Israel. And it was only discovered in 1910. And yeah, so it's quite an interesting premise, and then the song starts out with some almost sort of, you can tell they're going for that sort of Middle Eastern-y vibe with the guitar, before it turns the melody of that into the big, typical, brash Helloween riff that you expect. And Derris's, or Andy Derris's vocals come over the top, deliver a great verse, but the song, it really shines in its massive power metal chorus with some pretty high vocals on it. It's just a really catchy chorus throughout, and though the song does slow at around the 2.5 minute mark as we get Derris over a palm-muted chucking guitar by Vaikaf, or the other guy who can't remember the name of this moment, but I will. Oh, Gersner, that's it, Gersner. And this builds and goes into a great solo by Vaikaf and Gersner, and I can't help but get a real, even prog metal vibe from this song. It's always changing from fast guitar to slow, and it just feels like a power metal roller coaster ride, which is a fantastic way to start out. And the song's about 7 minutes long, so it comes across as a big epic song, really gets you into the album, makes you want to hear more, which is what a good single should do. It should make you want to hear the rest, and Nabataea certainly does that. It's one of, if not the best track on the album. Then we get to World at War, and this is about how the world handles war, shockingly. And it's about how it handles it as if it was business, and how money is the driving force, which is completely correct. I mean, you know, money, power and religion, really the three main causes of war. Anyway, this song has such a good opening lead line above the fast pounding drums and bass before the vocals come in, and they seem to be tinged with a real aggression and anger, which really fits the tone of the song. However, when it comes to the chorus, I don't know, I feel the song falls a little flat in my opinion, especially coming off the back of something as catchy as Nabataea. It just isn't all that gripping or particularly catchy. I find it a little anticlimactic after the fantastic, pseudo-aggressive pre-chorus. But the chorus, it doesn't ruin the song too much, it's still a decent song. Then Live Now. And according to Derris, this song is very pop metal. Yes, pop metal, that isn't a genre you often hear. Until Gersner Helloweened it up a bit, and that certainly intrigued me. And wow, I mean, you can hear what he meant by pop metal, or whatever, as it contains heavier keyboards than usual, and has a chorus with some pop sensibilities, but trust me, this is no pop metal song or whatever. This is not a pop song, it is a metal song, and it delivers on the metal side, with a heavy driving riff, and you can tell what Gersner has done to this song. If anything, it's a really nice change of pace and vibe, and something I wasn't expecting from him. I like this song a lot, it's probably one of my favourites. It's catchy, original, but it's still metal. Really good song. Then we get to Far From the Stars, and it's about having something to believe in and keep you going, whether religion or strong belief in something, and that was said by the bassist Grosskopf. And as much as I may disagree with everything stated there, it still starts with it just has a classic riff and vocals from Helloween. I particularly love the rhythm and Dewis's voice on this song. His vocals are so strong on it, to be honest. It's one of the highlights, and it may not throw any curveballs at us, but why does it need to? It's an exceptionally solid song with a catchy chorus, even if the lyrical content may be a bit, And, I mean, the strength of this song really applies to the album in general. This album's not the most innovative. Instead, it's just tweaks of their sound. They're one of those bands where you know what you're getting, so you're rarely disappointed. Like a band like Magnum or something. Their sound is pretty much the same, just with minor tweaks per album, but you know what you're getting for your $8.99 or whatever that is in dollars, $10 or whatever, for a new record. And, you know, there's not necessarily any harm in that particularly. Anyway, Burning Sun is next. And this is a bit of a weird subject. It's about a lunatic who dreams of stars in the sun. What type of drugs they're on thinking of that? I don't know. And this song, the chorus, I'll get flamed for this, but I don't know, it seems to remind me a little bit of Dragon Force. A little bit modern Dragon Force, as in after that guy left, the new vocalist from Power Within. A little bit. Anyway. That's not a bad thing, I like Dragon Force. Anyway, like the previous song, it follows pretty much the same classic Helloween structure, but, you know, it's just a strong example of it. And something I do need to point out, which definitely needs to talk about, is the bassist Grosskopf, yeah. And his bass lines on this album are some of the strongest and most defined I've heard for quite a while on a new metal record. The guy really pins the guitarist nicely, but also he seems to treat the bass almost as a lead instrument, like Lemmy from Motorhead. And I really like the way he plays bass. It's a very noticeable bass. It's not one of those, sometimes I find on metal, you know, if you have a couple of guitarists, they can drown out the bass. You just have these two chugging guitars, and the bass really gets lost between that and the drums. But here the bass is really clear. I don't know if it's just the production, but to me he sounds like a really good bassist. Anyway, yeah, another awesome song. So then we get to Waiting for the Thunder. And this seems to start with a nice piano melody trying to fool us into believing that it's a ballad, and while it's certainly no ballad, it's driven by this fantastic piano keyboards that soars above the guitars and song, but also the chorus on this song, it's just infectious. You just want to sing along. It's so catchy and powerful. In fact, it's one of my favourites on the album, and it definitely rivals Nabataea, especially the way in which the piano is used. It sets the song apart while still screaming Helloween at you. It's bloody wonderful. And then Hold Me in Your Arms, and this has some piano beats and piano beats, yeah, it has piano notes and a snare beat with some orchestral sounds, and it certainly isn't a typical Helloween start, and it seems as if the song is a ballad, and yeah, it actually is a ballad. And to me, this song really is the definition of a power ballad, a strong power ballad done well. It builds well to a great chorus, and like the previous song, it's just so catchy. And I do always like it when a metal band, it just isn't afraid to, you know, do a ballad, without feeling the need to suddenly start chugging along some overdriven, sludgy, distorted riff. And Helloween resisted temptation. Only a hint of overdrive appears in the form of a very suited guitar solo on the bridge. And fantastic power ballad, really strong. But then we get to this, which is Wannabe God. And this is dedicated to Freddie Mercury of Queen, of course. And it's a We Will Rock You inspired 2-minute song, which is very short for Helloween, making it the shortest on the album. And the drum beat seems to be that, it seems to remind me of, I don't know, some South American folk beat type thing, which is a bit weird. It's certainly an odd song, and at first I really wasn't sure quite what to think of it. On one hand, it's a nice sort of change of pace and, you know, a bit of variety, but on the other hand, it's not that good a song, really. There's nothing that stands out about it. The chorus, quite bland. the weird beat, and I don't even know, it doesn't seem to suit Helloween. It's an experiment, I can tell that, but not the best. It's probably the weakest song on the album, and serves no real purpose except just be like, hey, let's use a South American folk beat. We haven't done that for, I don't know if they have ever done that before. I've certainly missed it if they have. Anyway, let's move on to the title track, Straight Out of Hell. And after a brilliant ballad and a weird short song, we get Helloween going back to what they're best at, or certainly what they're most known for, with this title track, and this demonstrates why they are one of, if not the best power metal band around. And they know how to do a bloody big powerful chorus, even if it's not quite as overproduced as fellow Germans Iron Saviour, which, they have such a big sound. It's quite stupid, to be honest, but it's fun. And you definitely check them out, actually. Anyway, another wonderfully catchy but metal badass chorus driven by a strong bass and dueling guitar solos. I mean, who the hell doesn't love a dueling guitar solo? I certainly do. And this song, it really is just the epitome of why I love the genre of power metal. And then when we get to Arsehole, and as you can tell by the title, the song doesn't exactly take itself seriously, and is that a bad thing? No, not really. They managed to achieve something that I find very rare in music, and that is a truly fun song. A song with light, lyrical content that's meaningless, but it's still actually fun. And this really is an enjoyable song, even if the lyrics are silly. It has great musicianship, as you would expect with a Helloween song. I mean, it's not my favourite on the album, but it's a really nice song. I did enjoy it. And then Years, and this is about how people live their lives. This features some more prominent keyboards than some of the other songs, which I do certainly like. But overall, I think it's one of the weaker songs on the album, definitely. It wouldn't have been missed if it had been omitted. The verse and chorus are nothing special, especially the verse. I was not too impressed with that. And the chorus, again, it's okay, but if it hadn't been there, I wouldn't have missed it, to be honest. It's a type of thing you might expect as a bonus track, but no, not really that great. Then Make Fire Catch the Fly, and this is, it's a song about comparison between a man that feels attracted for a beautiful woman but does not want to talk to her, so he's socially awkward because he feels he'll be rejected. Socially awkward penguin meme, insert here. I'm not actually going to. Anyway, and a comparison between that and the fact that flies are always attracted by fire and end up burning themselves, but will keep on flying next to the flame anyway. So anyway, this song, it starts out fairly weirdly with some electronic sounds before the main riff comes in. However, seriously, this song, it takes off like a plane from a runway. It starts slow, but when it gets going, it's fantastic. Andy's vocals particularly strong, particularly powerful in this song, probably his most powerful vocal performance on the album. You can really hear a lot of passion coming from him. It's fantastic vocally, from high to low, from quiet to loud, and combined that with these solid beat and smooth solos, and this is just a joy to listen to. Church Breaks Down is the conclusion to this album and talks about some of the many crimes that the church has committed throughout the years. I mean, there's far too many to cover in one simple song. You could probably write a whole Green Day-like triple album on the matter, and still you'd only get about tiny bit of it covered. Anyway, this song, it starts off with some church bells and a woman sort of singing, but more like a type singing than, actual like lyrics. And then an organ of all things comes in, but it's not so surprising, the song's about the church. But I can't say I was still expecting an organ. But anyway, after all that stuff, I don't know why Helloween, they do this quite frequently. They have some weird sort of intro and then just start going into their chugging guitar and you never hear anything from the intro again. It's like, okay, what was the point in that? But anyway, so, get into the chugging guitars of Weikath and Gersner. And this song went ahead, it really impressed me. It's the second, or certainly one of the longest songs on the album. And it has some interesting changes in the middle. It really slows down to mainly some keyboards and a bit of guitar. And it's got my favourite guitar solo of the album on it. Really strong solos. I think it's, again, Weikath and Gersner sort of, almost playing against each other, which I really like. And combined with a stunning chorus, it's a hell of a way to end the album. So overall, I think that this is, as I expected, a strong release from Helloween, and it's becoming one of my favourite albums of the Andy Duis era of Helloween. Still, this album does have some flaws. Some of the songs are not too good. Some of the choruses can lack a bit, and even verses can. Some of it feels a bit lackluster. And again, some of the sounds can sort of feel. Some of the songs can feel a bit similar to one another, but that can happen in power metal. But still, I mean, they don't necessarily need to innovate. I mean, they've got a formula. They know how to work it. So this album is really solid, really enjoyable start to the year, and I'm going to give this album an 8 out of 10. They deserve it thorough. This has been the Album Man. Hope you've enjoyed this review, and as usual, long live rock and roll.